My Seven Chakras, episode 109.
The secret to success in life is finding something that you love to do and doing it better than anybody else.
The seven chakras, swirling vortices of energy, positioned throughout our body from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. For thousands of years, this ancient wisdom has been passed on from master to disciple. What are the functions of these energy centers? And could these chakras help you unlock your destiny and find your true purpose? Welcome to My Seven Chakras. And now, your host, Aditya Jai Kumar.
What's up, action takers? AJ here, founder and host of My Seven Chakras, your hub for information, insights, and stories that will propel you towards a transformation. Now, firstly, I am so grateful that you have taken your time to listen to today's episode. There are so many things that you could have done instead, but you've pressed play on this episode, so thank you for your trust. Now, before we begin today's episode, I wanted to share something with you guys. As you know, I love reading the emails, messages, and iTunes reviews that our listeners write to us. And today I thought of reading out an iTunes review by a listener named Marla Martinson. She writes, I love this podcast, great guests, high energy enthusiasm, and I always learn something new. Very entertaining. I usually listen in bed before I fall asleep on my iPhone with my headphones on. I love ending my day with such a positive message. Marla, I'm so glad that our show is entertaining you and helping you learn something new regularly. You really inspire me. And Action Tribe, if our show has touched your life in any way or it has inspired you to take action and change your life, I would really love to know. So write down your thoughts in the form of an iTunes review. And if you want, you can also add the name of your conscious business in the review as well. I'm going to read out the most inspiring review that we get so that thousands of other listeners can get inspired by your experience as well. Also, with every new iTunes review, our exposure and reach increases so that more and more people can get to know about our mission. So take a few minutes, write a review, and make my day. And with that, I am super excited to bring you our featured guest for today, Action Tribe, Dr. Edward Group. Dr. Group, are you ready to inspire?
Yes, I am.
Wow. Thanks a lot. Dr. Edward Group founded Global Healing Center in 1998 and currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer. He assumes a hands-on approach to producing new and advanced life-changing products and information. At the forefront of the research and development team, Dr. Group leads the efforts to develop and formulate all Global Healing Center brand products. He has studied natural healing methods for over 20 years and now focuses on spreading the word of health and wellness to the global community. Under his leadership, Global Healing Center has earned a recognition as one of the largest alternative natural and organic health resources available. So Dr. Group, I've given our listeners an intro, but take about a minute and tell us a bit more about yourself.
Well, originally I was my whole life really wanting to go into the medical field. My dad was a chemist, and kind of a very strange thing happened to me. I had studied pharmaceuticals and my dream was to be a heart surgeon. And right before I was about to go into medical school, it just so happened that I met a guy at a dinner party and we were kind of arguing back and forth. And as it turns out, this guy had been spending the majority of his life studying natural health methods, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, and he was focusing on natural treatments for cancer at the time. And I was trained that, that was just quackery and pharmaceuticals were the way to go and natural was witchcraft and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So he basically sat back in his chair and said, do you know what pharmaceuticals do to people? And I said, well, yeah, obviously they help people. And he said, you have a background in chemistry and biochemistry. Why don't you just take any pharmaceutical and go look at what it does to the body? So I was enthusiastic about it, went to the library, looked up a couple different pharmaceuticals and really got deeply involved at what they were doing at the biochemical level and the physiology level of the body. And I was just completely in shock. I mean, that was something that even in pre-med and when you're studying to go into medical school, they don't teach you to look at what happens, what pharmaceuticals actually do in the body. I was totally in shock. And at that point forward, I knew that there's no way I could continue going down that road because what I found was devastating to the biochemistry of the body. It was either going to shut a system down, it was going to cover a system up or it was going to create a massive amount of side effects in the process. So that's the basic story of how I got started. I went back to this guy. I told him to teach me everything he knew. And from that point forward, I started training and learning the spiritual side of healing, the physical side of healing, and the emotional side of healing, and devoted my life to it. And talk about inspirational. It was a total life-changing event for me. And I never looked back at that time. We started working together and developing. Our main mission at that point was to determine the root cause of all disease and the root cause of cancer. And that's what led us into the cleansing arena and into the product development arena.
Well, I think that's a really inspiring story. I can't wait to get to learn more about your inspiring message. So, Dr. Crew, I'm sure you agree that words are powerful. Words can either act as toxic chemicals or they could act as natural healing medicines that can change our lives. So, before we actually begin today's episode, we're going to ask you for a dose of inspirational wisdom. Sounds like a plan?
Sounds like a good plan.
Great. So, Dr. Crew, what is your favorite inspirational quote? And furthermore, tell us how you apply this quote to your life.
You know, there's so many inspirational quotes, but I think that one of the things that I see happening around the world is people just aren't happy with their current jobs and what they're doing in their life and happy with their relationships. And a guy told me a long time ago, he said, you know, the secret to success in life, and that means success spiritually, success emotionally, or success spiritually, is finding something that you love to do and doing it better than anybody else. So I would say that I think about that all the time because in business, for example, I love what I do. And I think a lot of people don't really love or they're not happy with what they do on a regular basis. So I always say, you know, look for those things that are going to make you happy in your relationship. Look for those things that are going to give you hope physically if you're depressed or if you're sick or if you're suffering from some sort of degenerative illness. You're not most likely going to find that hope at or with the current medical system. So I try to look at things that are going to initiate peace, joy, happiness, hope, a lot of the positivity and the positive emotions in my life instead of focusing on the negative. You know, we have so much negative around us with the media and the TV and everything like that. And probably one of the things that I try to tell people is you can change. I mean, you have the ability to change. You have the ability to change your health. You have the ability to change your thoughts. And words are powerful. Watch what comes out of your mouth. Just like you said, Masaru Emoto in his studies with water actually placed negative words on vials of water and positive words on vials of water and found that the positive words actually changed the water into a perfect crystalline structure as opposed to the negative words on water, which altered the water structure. So words are very, very powerful. And I agree with you that we should, you know, utilize our words carefully and then also in our lives, focus on positive aspects.
So thanks a lot for that powerful message. Action Tribe, the message is clear. The secret to success is finding that one thing that you love to do and doing it better than anyone else because only you, Action Taker, has the power to change your life. So let's dive in. Dr. Group, what inspired you to start the Global Healing Center in 1988?
What inspired me is continually doing the research with the gentleman that was working with natural medicine. After I figured out the damaging effects of pharmaceuticals and wanted to go into natural health, it was so inspiring to start reading the ancient texts. I mean, natural medicine goes back thousands and thousands of years, and studying what the ancient masters and the ancient alchemists and all of the ancient herbalists and what each culture did to take care of their people and how they used multiple approaches with cleansing and detoxification and different types of medicinal remedies they didn't have pharmaceuticals. They didn't have the diagnostic equipment back then. That was extremely inspiring for me, considering what we have today at our disposal with extraction technology and all the different herbs and the different methods of healing. I would say that the light came on when we spent years at that point traveling around, talking to different doctors that were working with cancer, That was really what our main focus was on, because this was back in the 90s. And our main goal at that time, we put together a research team, and this research team was specifically designed to determine what the root cause of all disease is today. And we determined that the root cause was a combination of toxins coming in through the air, and toxins coming in through the water, and toxins coming in through the food supply, and toxins generated from physical and emotional stress level, and toxins from parasites and heavy metals and all different types of chemicals that people were exposed to. So I would say that at that point in time, we realized that every single person had a self-healing mechanism, and that these chemicals and toxins were causing the individual's self-healing mechanism to be suppressed, and coming up with the solution on how we could reactivate everybody's self-healing mechanism and developing programs based upon the root cause of disease, not based upon the symptoms of disease, was one of the most groundbreaking conclusions to our research, which was about a 3 or 4 year research operation. That was extremely inspiring to me, and that's what set the stage for moving forward in the future of getting this information out and developing products.
So you mentioned that it was really inspiring to read the ancient texts, to learn about those herbalists and masters and how they used natural remedies to cure people without the power of advanced technology that we have today. And you really wanted to get to the root cause of the problem that we're facing and how can we tap into our self-healing mechanism. I love that. Now, for the benefit of our listeners, what exactly is a detox?
So a detox, we found that no disease and no symptoms manifest themselves in anybody's body, whether it's arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, pains, headaches, fibromyalgia. It doesn't matter. They're all the same thing, which is too many chemicals and toxins in your body and not enough chemicals and toxins coming out of your body. So in order to activate the body's self-healing mechanism and to reduce any type of symptoms that anyone is suffering from, that those have to be detoxified from your body properly. So as we were doing our research, we determined that the first exposure point to these chemicals and toxins, how are they getting in the body? Mm-hmm. Well, they're getting in the body, most of them through the intestines, because all the chemicals and toxins you drink and eat are going to enter through the intestines. And even a lot of the toxins that you breathe on a daily basis are going to enter in through the intestines because they get caught in the mucous membranes of your nose and your throat, and then they leak down into your stomach and go into your intestines. We knew the root cause of all disease being chemicals and toxins in the body. And then we through our experimentation, we knew that, well, if that's the root cause, then we're going to need to get those out. So where are those chemicals and toxins entering the body? And yes, you are going to have chemicals coming in through the skin, and you are going to have some coming in through the air, through the lungs, but the majority, 95%, are going to be entering through the intestinal lining. So we knew had to be our first focus. How do we cleanse and detoxify the intestines? We identified multiple factors. The first factor was the intestines. The second factor was the liver, which was congested because the liver just couldn't process and eliminate and detoxify the amount of chemicals and toxins coming into the body. The next thing we identified was the amount of parasites that were in the body. And parasites would be bacteria, viruses, mycoplasms, worms, all of these organisms that are living in the body. And then the last cleanse or the last detoxification method we knew we had to accomplish was cleansing out all the chemicals and heavy metals from the system. Someone might have mercury amalgams in their teeth, and they might be taking in high levels of chemicals and metals in their diet or through other mechanisms. So we knew we had to start with the intestines, and we had to develop a product that was safe to use that people could take on a regular basis. And that was difficult because we looked at all the different types of dating back historical cleansing methods for the intestines and found that the majority of them could only be used sparingly, psyllium and cascara and senna, because those would ultimately damage the bowel lining for good if they were used over a period of time. So we actually had to develop an oxygen-based intestinal cleanser that would be safe, that people could use on a regular basis to cleanse and repair the intestines. And then we were going to move on to the liver and gallbladder, so we had to develop a cleanse that was safe using organic herbs and highly therapeutic herbs that would help cleanse the liver and gallbladder, and then a parasite or a harmful organism cleanse that would safely do that. And then last but not least would be the chemical and heavy metal cleanse. And that's really, with our research, what we wanted to start experimenting with. I mean, if you think about it, all the natural doctors still today, whether you're trained in Ayurvedic medicine, whether you're trained in traditional Chinese medicine, where you're trained in South American medicine, it doesn't matter. All of the training facilities still train the doctors to treat the symptoms of disease instead of the root cause. For example, if someone comes into an Ayurvedic practitioner with a headache, they're going to treat the headache. What made our research unique, that no one had done this before, is that we were focusing actually on the root cause of the problem. What do we need to do to address the root cause and bring the body's self-healing mechanism back to balance? Because everybody has the power to heal within their own body. And that's an inspirational quote right there. Everybody has the power to heal themselves. Mm-hmm. It's just that they're running to the doctors, and the doctors are only addressing the symptoms of their problem. The doctors aren't addressing the root cause. So they're still doing the same thing, and the self-healing mechanism is still deprived. Now, even though they may get some results, what we found is our method was actually addressing and cleansing the root cause of the problems and getting deep down in the body to reactivate their body's self-healing mechanism. And that's why we started doing more and more research into detoxification and cleansing. These are things that people are not taught in schools that much. Mm-hmm. And we started developing and working with and opened up a clinic that specialized in detoxification using these methods. And we had tremendous success where everybody's symptoms would go away and even their diseases would go away after a short period of time. And the only thing we were doing was teaching people how to eat properly, not to put all the chemicals and toxins in their body, and cleansing their body on a regular basis.
Inspiring. So quick clarification. You spoke about the importance of cleansing the intestines. So does the colon cleanse detoxify the intestines?
Yes, it does. So as we started going into our research and we found that the intestines, like I said, were the first exposure point, then we really started looking at what do the intestines do and how are the intestines being damaged by all these substances. Well, if you look at the damaging effects of the alcohol, let's say, high fructose corn syrup, genetically modified foods, white flour, gluten. We identified hundreds of chemicals and toxins that people were taking in through their food that were literally burning holes through the intestinal lining, causing leaky gut syndrome. Not only that, they were killing off all the good probiotics in the bowel. And the third thing they were doing was altering the cellular function. They were burning the nerves, so people were becoming constipated and weren't having the 2 to 3 bowel movements a day that they were supposed to be having on a regular basis. So they were everybody that we looked at, or the majority of the population worldwide, we found is constipated. Wow. They're not drinking enough water either. So we had to say, well, what is a safe cleanser? Because we knew it's really hard to get people to change their diet. They're eating fast food. They're drinking horrible soft drinks, coffee, all different types of energy drinks, alcoholic drinks. All of those drinks, the majority, are detrimental and damaging to the body, the liver, and the intestines. So what we had to do was look and we wanted to find something that somebody could take that could keep their intestines clean every week, no matter even if they ate bad, because we knew that was the first exposure point, and we knew that the chemicals were sitting in the system for 2 to 3 days, sometimes leaking in, and people weren't having enough bowel movements. So what could we develop that they could take 2 or 3 times a week and still have regular bowel movements, but it would be safe and it wouldn't cause permanent damage to the bowel tissue? And we looked at all the herbs out there, and there just wasn't that many herbs that people could take on a weekly basis without causing damage. So then we had to look at what other compounds could work. And we found that Nikola Tesla and Eugene Blas had developed a oxygen-based intestinal cleanser in 1898. And so we kind of based our formula off of that and actually developed a product called Oxy Powder, which utilizes the hydrochloric acid levels in your stomach with a catalyst, and it slowly releases a monatomic oxygen all the way through your bowel. So it's not just the colon, it's the full intestinal tract that becomes damaged. And most people have about 25 feet of small intestine and 10 feet of actual colon. Well, a lot of the damage takes place in your small intestine because that's where the food comes out of your stomach and then goes down into your small intestine, and your small intestine is 25 feet long. So we find a lot of the problems in the compaction happens in the small intestine. So that's where we really wanted to come up with a product that would oxidize, it would neutralize, and herbs don't do that because herbs don't actually go through an oxidation reduction reaction, which means they're going to take a solid matter and reduce it to a liquid or a gas, or they're going to neutralize a harmful chemical and bond to it so you can release it. So we really wanted to find something like that. And so that's what we did when we created the Oxy Powder. And so that's been on the market for years, and it's been tested, gone through phase 1, 2, and 3 FDA-approved clinical trials. And so that's what we use for our intestinal cleansing program at this point in time, as well as we use a real powerful probiotic formula. That's why you're hearing so much about gut health these days, because if you cleanse and repair your gut, and you make sure that you start avoiding all of these chemicals and all these toxins that you're drinking and eating on a regular basis, it is amazing how fast the body can heal itself. You know, your gut is associated with your brain too. They say it's your second brain. So all these people that are suffering from these emotional disturbances, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, there's hundreds of so-called mental illnesses. I don't believe that there's any such thing as mental illnesses because I know that all of these chemicals are going up to the brain, and that's the cause of all these people's problems. It's chemical toxicity in the brain that's causing anxiety, depression, stress, and all these other things. So healing the bowel, you start seeing all these amazing things happen in the body, that you would have never thought could have happened just with cleansing and repairing your gut biome, how many additional benefits you get throughout your whole body just from doing that.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that the chemicals affect the bowel movement, creating a leaky gut problem and leading to constipation and many other challenges as well. And you came up with a product that would oxidize and neutralize, something that natural herbs couldn't really do. So let's talk about some of the benefits of colon cleanse. Obviously, you've hinted at some of them before, but what can someone expect after the cleanse?
Well, everybody's biochemistry is different. And so what the best results that we see are a lot of people, when they do their first cleanse, they lose about 10 to 15 pounds. Mm-hmm. Now, that is not fat loss, but that's just the accumulation of so much toxic buildup or sludge that gets built up inside the intestinal lining. Sometimes people can have up to 20 or 30 pounds of this sludge that just accumulates year after year after year after year, and there's no way to get it out. The benefits are amazing. Usually we start seeing clearer skin because the skin is associated with the bowel. Depending on what type of symptoms that those individuals might be suffering from, you might see a reduction in the symptoms, overall vitality, increased energy, better bowel movements, maybe less gas, bloating. Just depending on who that individual is, kind of depends on the benefits. But the fact is, everybody should be cleansing their intestines on a regular basis, and everybody should be looking at what they can do to improve their health, what they can do to improve their diet, because it's all about what you're putting in your body as well. I mean, if you decide that you're going to be putting genetically modified food and toxic and microwaved food and food in BPA plastic bottles and eating out at any restaurant and increasing the amount of soy in your diet, all of those things that we have right now worldwide in our food supply, most of them, unless it's organic, are going to be extremely damaging. So if you clean your intestines, but then you continue to put the bad food in, you're going to have to keep your intestines clean on a regular basis.
So before moving on to the solution, two things. How long does a colon cleanse take, and what exactly happens during the colon cleanse program? How does it work?
That actually is a great question. It's one of our most common questions. Okay, so it's very easy now to do intestinal cleansing. Years ago, you had to mix different concoctions together, and, it was a long process. But with the oxygen pills that we have, it's really simple. You can do a 6-day intestinal cleanse is what we recommend. And that means just taking capsules every night before you go to bed. And so while you sleep, the oxygen gets released, and these monatomic oxygen singlets or little oxygen bubbles literally bubble through all of the compaction and all of this sludge in your intestines while you sleep. So you get up in the morning and you go to the bathroom. So it's not really hard. You don't have to change your schedule, your work schedule, when you go through an intestinal cleanse. And then we recommend people take capsules at least 2 nights a week, just to keep everything moving and to keep everything oxidized and to keep everything moving through their system. We really wanted to make a user-friendly intestinal cleanse program. When we started doing the research out there, we found that a lot of people were just turned off by cleansing the body because it was going to take them too much time. They had to take time off of work, and we wanted to be able to develop a intestinal cleansing process that wasn't going to affect what you were doing every single day. And that's why all you do is take a few capsules before you go to bed at night, and you let that work during the night, and then you get up in the morning and go to the bathroom. So we recommend people start with going through a 6-day cleanse. During that 6 days is when we really recommend you drink a lot of water, don't eat a lot of toxic food, try to eat only organic, try to eat as much live, good food as you can. Try to limit your meat intake if possible. And once they've gone through that 6-day initial cleanse, then we recommend them transitioning into a maintenance program and cleansing their intestines at least once a week, maybe twice a week. I pretty much live on raw food. I would say a vegetarian, but I have dairy every now and then, but mostly raw. And I still take, and cleanse my bowel a couple times a week. It's just something we're all exposed. We live in a toxic world right now. The earth is sick. Mm-hmm. The earth is toxic. The oceans are toxic. The air is toxic. The soil is toxic. The animals are dying. The plants are dying. I mean, it's not like, we all don't need to cleanse and we can just live, because you see that people are coming down, everybody is coming down with some form of sickness earlier and earlier and earlier. And so that's why it's so important. The animals cleanse themselves on a regular basis. The earth cleanses itself with rain and wind and all kinds of other things. And so my point is that, listen, we know for a fact, we did the research, we know the root cause of every single disease. We can pinpoint every single symptom and every single disease to chemicals and toxins that are coming in through the food and water and the air. We've done that research 20 years ago. Now, we want to get the solution out on how you can protect yourself from ingesting all those toxins and how you can keep your body clean. Mm-hmm. It really is the secret to health. And I have a video called The Secret to Health. It's a seminar that goes over all of this. The secret to health is to keep your body clean on a regular basis and keep your self-healing mechanism activated.
So there you go, Action Tribe. For starters, it's a 6-day program, really simple to execute, and you don't have to take a work off. You take these capsules before you sleep, and while you sleep, the capsules form bubbles that literally burst through the sludge that has collected in your body over so many years. So, Dr. Group, what advice do you have for someone listening to this episode right now who's doing this for the very first time and really wants to start the cleanse today itself and get rid of the toxins? Is there any prep work that this person needs to do before beforehand?
Not at all. No prep work needed. That's why it's so successful. People can just jump on. They can start it. We have all the instructions on our website. It's very easy to do, and it's very effective. And if anyone wants to start, they can easily go online and read all the instructions and order the product and then start right away. It's amazing. What I always recommend people do is read all the reviews. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is something we've been doing for a long time. There's a lot of people out there that have these fly-by-night cleansing programs. We've used our cleanse programs on over 300,000 people.
Wow.
We've been doing this for 20 years. Our reviews are absolute 4.6 and above online for all of our cleanses. We use only the state-of-the-art ingredients, organically certified. We want the cleanest. Every one of our products are vegan-friendly, gluten-free, free of any toxic fillers, binders, excipients, therapeutically enhanced. So, and then plus, this is our specialty. I mean, our specialty is reactivating the self-healing mechanism. So there's really, the beautiful thing about it is there's really no prep time needed. I mean, you can, as soon as you get your product, you can start. I mean, you can start right now after you listen to this show. You know that you can make that decision to just start eating healthier and just paying attention to what goes in your mouth. You can just, every single thing that you grab, whether it's a drink or whether it's a food product, you can just look at that and say, is this really going to be healthy for me if I eat this? Is this really going to be healthy for me if I drink this? We have a huge problem right now in the world, and it's called food addiction. And it's almost worse than drug addiction, because food addiction, with people being addicted to the high fructose corn syrup or addicted to the fast foods or the MSG, it's a long-term health depleting action, which is listed as a toxin in our minds, that, with the internet, with what you're doing and what other people are doing out there with educating people, it's all about education. And that's what's changing people's lives. And what we're here to do in our mission and what inspires us is to create change in the world and to create change in people's lives on a daily basis. And so that's really our goal, and that's what my mission is. That's what I believe I was here to do and put on this planet to do, is to help change the world and make the world a better place to live. Clean the air, clean the water, clean the food, so we can all benefit and become healthier mentally, physically, and spiritually.
I think that's a really powerful message, Dr. Group. And Action Tribe, to access the show notes for this episode, visit my7chakras.com/109. That's my7chakras.com/109. And you'll have all the links that you would need in order to start your detox today itself. Acceptance of what has happened is the first step to overcoming the consequence of any misfortune. That's a powerful quote by William James. Action Tribe, this is a quote that is very relevant to today's episode. No matter what change you're trying to make, whether it's cleansing the toxins from your body, losing excess weight, quitting smoking, whatever the case might be, acceptance is the first step. Once we accept the fact that we are not where we intend to be, and we know that our goal or direction is right in front of us, we know it, that's when our ship can sail. But as Mr. James once said, acceptance is really, really important. And speaking about a challenge or an obstacle, Dr. Group, take us back to a time when you faced a major challenge. So firstly, how did you approach the challenge? And then how did you finally overcome it?
The biggest challenge that we had was when we finished our research and we knew what the true root cause of cancer was. And we opened up a cancer clinic in 1998, and we were using these detoxification methods with cancer patients and degenerative disease patients. When we were so excited that our results were extremely successful and that we had determined a method where cancer patients could eliminate their cancer, we thought we had had a major breakthrough and that the whole world would want to know about it. And we published our results online. And probably one of the most devastating things that happened is that the FDA and the big corporations came in, and we were visited by guys in black suits, and they basically said to us, you will shut this down, we will take your files, and you will not be allowed to practice, and you are not allowed to talk to anybody about this anymore. Well, we were in shock because we thought, why on earth would this happen? Why would the world not want to know this information? Why would everybody out there suffering from cancer not want to know what they can do to eliminate not only cancer, but to eliminate every disease? And so we asked these individual men in black, I'll call them, and they basically told us that we were a threat to the pharmaceutical companies. We were a threat to the big corporations. And if we continued, that we would be taken care of and probably found dead somewhere, or we would have to live out of the country. We needed to move out of the country. So I would say that was a very shocking experience for me. It was a major barrier. It was a major challenge. What do we do next? I mean, we want the world to get this information, and all of a sudden we're being told. I had black cars following me around for months, and I started looking into it, and it was true. I mean, many doctors have been forced out of the country for coming up with methods of reversing different types of diseases or cancer, and I wasn't the first one. I found out. I started looking deeper into it and found out there's been a whole host of doctors even killed dating back to the 1800s that have come out with different methods of treating people that weren't regulated and profitable for pharmaceutical companies. Mm-hmm. So at that point in time, we shifted our gears. And how did we overcome that challenge? Well, we overcame that challenge by really sitting down and thinking, well, how can we present this information to the general public, but without making an actual disease claim? And we evaluated what we were doing, and really all we were doing was cleansing the body. All we were doing was bringing people back to a state of wellness. So we decided that we could still use what we were doing, but just more or less let people know that, listen, this is what we've developed. This is what we've come up with. This is what works. We know it works. What we would like to do is present this as a way that you can change your life through reactivating your body's self-healing mechanism, cleansing your body, detoxifying your body, and bringing back the power that you have, your spiritual power, your physical power, and your mental power that you've lost due to all this toxicity. So then we started a website, Global Healing Center, and we started focusing on getting this information out to the masses and doing it in a way and marketing in a way that it would not address the specific disease that you had, but more or less focus on educating people as to the root cause of disease, and then also educating people on how they can reactivate their body's self-healing mechanism.
So looking back now, in just one sentence, what is that one major life lesson that you'd like to share with our listeners?
The major life lesson is probably never give up. I've seen the difference between some people successfully winning the battle against cancer or any degenerative disease and some people not winning that battle. And it all comes down to two things: hope and drive and passion, and believing that what they're doing is going to work, and believing in yourself and never giving up. That's what I would say.
Well, firstly, thanks a lot for sharing your story. I found it really, really inspiring. You mentioned that when you finished your research and you found the true cause of cancer, you were excited because you had determined a way to help these patients that were suffering for so long. But then you had the men in black come and instruct you to stop operations immediately because they felt that you were a threat to the pharmaceutical companies. And that's when you changed your gears. You shifted your approach. How can we present this information to the public without making that claim? So you're infecting, or you're making the same change, but you're just positioning your message in a different way. I thought that was incredible. Wonderful story. Action Tribe, based on stories about how people have manifested their futures. Most of them had to go into the future, dream it, envision it, imagine it, and then come back to the present and take action to create it. So especially if you used to daydream a lot as a kid, or if you had a powerful imagination and you feel that you might have lost some of that imagination in your adulthood, make an attempt to reconnect with your inner child and the power of your imagination. Because as Scott Momaday once said, we are what we imagine. Our very existence consists in our imagination of ourselves. The greatest tragedy that can befall us is to go unimagined. So Dr. Group, have you found your life's calling? And I'm sure our audience would love to learn what is your life's calling at this point in life?
I've definitely found my life's calling, and in a few words, is to create change in the world. Watching people and being part of people changing their lives every single day for the better there's no better satisfaction in that. I mean, when you can go home at the end of the day and know that you helped change people's lives for the better, it's the most gratifying experience I think that anybody could ever have happen. And so my life's calling is two things: to help create change in the world and to create change in people's lives for the better every single day.
Beautiful. So looking back now, was there ever a special moment beyond which you were confident that your life was surely going to change? Take us back to that very moment.
That very moment was when I left the library, when I was doing research on all the pharmaceuticals, and my whole life's dream, which was to be a heart surgeon, was gone in that moment. And I can remember in the car leaving the library, and it was, I always had spiritual experiences as a kid, and I knew that I'd had many different things happening to me. And what I experienced that day is I was like, as I left the library, I was literally crying driving down the road because it was such a powerful experience. I just knew that took place for a purpose. I was sent to determine that those pharmaceuticals were bad, and this whole new life had just opened up right in front of me. And I was then sent to have this whole new dream in front of me. And so it was powerful. It was just a powerful experience that I'll remember forever.
I think that's a really powerful moment, and I'm sure that a lot of our listeners would be able to relate it. A moment, a transition where they get to turn a new page and change and impact lives of so many people around them. Dr. Group, we've arrived at the final round for today's show, the Wisdom Round. Now, this is a rapid fire round that contains just 4 questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Great. What is the best advice that you have ever received?
Best advice I've ever received is when I went through that whole process and my wife and everybody around me just said, don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up just because you've been knocked down. Pick yourself up and move on and have that passion and believe in yourself, believe in what you've done, and believe in the vision that you have that you can provide to the rest of the world.
Name a personal habit that keeps you strong.
My wife keeps me strong, and my kids, because I try to spend as much time as I can with them, and the employees, and really the end consumer keeps me strong. When I get to read the reports or see the testimonials or the product reviews come in and all of the people that have gone through the cleansing and how it's changed their life forever, that is just amazing, and that keeps me going on a regular basis.
So, Dr. Group, what is your morning ritual like?
My morning ritual is get up around 4 in the morning and meditate for a couple hours. I believe meditation is one of the most powerful things that's changed my life that everybody should be doing. So I get up and I meditate in the morning. Then I have a fresh pressed juice with fresh vegetables, organic vegetables. And then I go to the gym, or I do some yoga, or I do a workout in the morning. And then I head to the office and work from there.
Now, I know the next question is going to be a hard one, but what is the most powerful book that you've ever read?
Most powerful book I've ever read has got to be The Secret to Life. It was written by a guy in India named Thakar Singh. But I also like The Secret. I tell people to read The Secret just because the power of the mind is incredible. And I think that we as a culture have not tapped into the power of our mind as much as we could, and how powerful the mind is. So The Secret really describes, how we can use our mind effectively to change the way we live. And then also the other book, The Secret to Life, it just talks about, the things that we can do to improve ourselves on a regular basis.
We're going to have all this information in the show notes. Action tribe: to access today's show notes, visit my7chakras.com/109. That's my7chakras.com/109. So Dr. Group, it was amazing having you on the show today. Before you go, tell us one thing that you're really grateful for, and tell us the best way we can find you online.
I'm just grateful for my health and grateful for the fact that I actually am able to reach millions of people every single day through our website, which is globalhealingcenter.com. That's globalhealingcenter.com. detoxify.com. And I'm just grateful that God gave me the opportunity to be here and to do and to help not only change the world, but to change people's lives. And I'm just grateful to be healthy and be able to have a great group of employees around me and a great family.
So there you go, Action Tribe. If you loved what you heard so far, if you want to clean up all that sludge, all those toxins that have collected in your body so far, and if you want to do it in a way that's really simple, you don't have to take an off from your work, just pop in a capsule the previous night and that bubbles the way through all that sludge, then you have to go to globalhealingcenter.com. We'll have the link in the show notes as well, and start your detox, Action Takers. That's when you take action and change your life. Feel better so that you can impact the people and communities around you. So Dr. Group, thank you so much for coming on our show, teaching us about the importance of detoxing our bodies and taking us one step closer to a human revolution.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate everything you're doing. It was great to be on the show today.
You were listening to My Seven Chakras. Go to mysevenchakras.com. Download your free gift, get inspired, and take action. Transform your life today.